Thank you. Joining us now to discuss is CNN political analyst Karin Demerjen, the congressional reporter for The Washington Post, and CNN legal analyst Shan Wu, defense attorney and former federal prosecutor. Shan, if Giuliani was trying to make these business deals, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, with the very same Ukrainian officials he was talking to in his efforts to dig up dirt on the Bidens, what kind of legal trouble could this pose, even if they didn't follow through?
And two issues here. First of all, on the criminal side, he could be running afoul of the Foreign Agents Registry Act, which means he's working on behalf of a foreign government he fails to register. Even if he didn't actually complete these contracts, he likes to brag how he isn't getting paid, he could still have to register because he may be taking actions on their part even before he enters into a contract. Then separately, on the legal ethics front, this is real swamp for him because the conflicts of interest are just rampant. I mean, he's trying to negotiate business deals to be an advocate for the same people that on behalf of the president, he's trying to pressure those same people. So big conflict of interest there.
Karin, the president is now saying he didn't direct Giuliani on the Ukraine dealings, and he told Bill O'Reilly, Rudy has clients other than me. Do you think he was maybe getting out ahead of this story that shows Giuliani seeking other clients in Ukraine?
It seems like the president is definitely creating space between himself and Giuliani and leaving the room for the conclusion to be that, well, Giuliani was operating in order to advance his own bottom line, and then just saying that he was working on behalf of the president when he really wasn't. The problem is that Rudy has been saying for a very long time, everything I've been doing has been on behalf of the president. And so it's kind of up to the president to now be pivoting, because the president has been saying that he and Rudy are very close. And this is definitely a 180-degree turn in terms of the way that the president has been describing their relationship and the work that his lawyer was doing on the ground. It is important for the president to try to make this part of his defense at this point, because the impeachment inquiry is looking at connecting the dots to him, and Rudy was his translator for a lot of the people that were dealing with the president, working on the side parallel policy on Ukraine, were getting their instructions from Rudy Giuliani because the president told them to. So if the president is doing this now, it's certainly a course shift, and whether that will actually shield him is unclear.
Let's not forget the phone call, right, with the president of Ukraine, in which the president brought up Rudy Giuliani and said, I want you to speak to him. I'm going to have your people reach out to my people, and that being Giuliani, as well as the Attorney General William Barr. A personal lawyer, though, Shan, working for Donald Trump, who also profits off of using his association with him. Who else does this sound like? Michael Cohen, right? And the president is starting to sound like he did when talking about Cohen before he flipped, slowly distancing himself from him. But remember, when Cohen testified with evidence, mind you, Republicans mostly ignored it and they attacked his credibility. Karin, let me come back to you, because I want to ask, what do you think they'll do regarding this news with Giuliani, with Republicans there in Congress?
I think Republicans have been looking for somebody to take the heat off of the president for a while. The campaign that they have been making in response to the march of witnesses who came through is that most of these people are only speaking based on what they know in terms of hearsay, that they were getting their information not directly through the president, but through Giuliani, through Gordon Sondland, through Mick Mulvaney sometimes. Of course, the one exception to that is the fact that there are these direct conversations that were overheard between Gordon Sondland and the president. But again, Republicans have been saying, well, maybe he misinterpreted, or it's just his word. We haven't necessarily heard the president say himself that he wanted these investigations, apart from the transcript of the phone call in which he refers to the Bidens and CrowdStrike server and things like that. And so I think that Republicans will probably seize on this to try to create, again, that space between the president and the people who are speaking for the president, in this case Rudy Giuliani. And Rudy Giuliani, because he is such a loose cannon at times, he does go on television and speak his mind in ways that others probably would not. He's an easy target, basically, to try to wrap much of these allegations around, and much of the scrutiny about the wrongdoing around, and the GOP will certainly try to amplify that.
And Shan, Republicans and the president have already seized on that one interaction between Gordon Sondland and Trump, a phone call where the president supposedly said no quid pro quo. But now we have new reporting from the Washington Post saying no other witnesses or documents can corroborate that call. It's just Sondland himself. And according to the Post, quote, there is evidence of another call between Trump and Sondland that occurred a few days earlier, one with a very different thrust, in which the president made clear that he wanted his Ukrainian Ukrainian counterpart to personally announce investigations into Trump's political opponents. So Shan Sondland is a key figure, obviously, in this impeachment inquiry, but is he a reliable source?
He certainly is not a reliable source in our usual sense of who's trustworthy. He obviously has dissembled, probably lied under oath, but where you can trust him is when you have corroboration from other sources, other statements, sometimes from the president's own mouth. And what's happening here is the Republicans have been trying for a while to place so much emphasis on the Latin phrase quid pro quo. It's really kind of a meaningless phrase in this instance because it's really what is the president trying to do. It does not matter whether they use the magic words quid pro quo. It'd be like a person in a mafia setting, which the president seems to like to talk about, saying, take care of that guy, get rid of him, but I never said the word murder. It doesn't matter he didn't say that, or he tells Sondland, that's not what I'm asking for, a quid pro quo. It's his actions, what he is asking for the investigation, this other call that may have been the correct date. It seems clear from that context that he's very specific about how he wants the Ukrainians to make a public statement that they're opening the investigation into Biden. So that's really where the problem is for the president. These sort of technical word defenses are really just falling away as they usually do.
Shan Wu and Karan Demirjian, bless you both for getting up early to be here with us on Thanksgiving. Thank you for being here and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.